Good evening, folks. I'm Bubba Truth. Some of y'all might know this and some of you might not. But on October 11th, 1973, a couple fellas named Parker and Hickson were fishing on a riverbank right over here behind me. I heard some noises. I turned around. There's a UFO behind them. 3 wrinkly critters with lobster claw hands coming after them, abducted them. Since then, there's been over 600 reports of UFOs in the state of Mississippi. So tonight, we're gonna probe around, see if we can't find some folks who've seen some UFOs. Folks, tonight, we're hunting for aliens.
We're going out hunting with Bubba Truth. Keep a trail, let's go start to. Right circle in a field, there's a UFO. There's a goat man sneaking across the road. Wolfman high double. Now we're hunting with Bubba Truth.
Now, there are reports all over the state of Mississippi about UFOs. We're down here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And right over here behind me, back in March, a couple fellas were fishing about 9:30 at night, saw a green orb floating by. He said it was moving at a high rate of speed, kind of zigzagging back and forth and all that. And then all of a sudden it changed its trajectory and kind of fell out of the sky, caught on fire and just disappeared. Well, there's no sound associated with it in any way. It said it was about 65 degrees off to the side. I don't know if that's any significance or not, but the crazy thing is, it could have been so many things. But of course, it was an unidentified flying object. They couldn't identify it. It was flying and it was some sort of object. So it fits the definition of a UFO, but were there aliens involved? That's the question. Was Bigfoot flying around in a spaceship? We don't know. Bigfoot could be an alien. Bigfoot could be some kind of critter from the fossil record or what have you. But we just don't know what it was that was going on. Now, there's some folks who might say that it was one of them Chinese lanterns that got lit up and was just kind of flying around, you know, in the night air with the breeze, and all of a sudden it caught fire and fell out of the sky. That's plausible, but we don't know that it's true. And that's what we're looking for, is truth. We're out here looking for the truth about aliens. Now, there's many things it could have been. And I don't want to speculate, but I couldn't get a hold of these fellas to ask them, hey, what happened? My names wasn't associated with it. When you get into talking about aliens and whatnot, folks get kind of antsy. You know, they don't want to fess up to the things that they might have seen. They don't want to say, hey, I'm the guy who saw some aliens over there. They don't want to play that game all the time. So it's hard to get folks to talk about it. And when you do find folks to talk about it, sometimes they're not the easiest folks to talk to, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm up here in Loosedale, Mississippi, and I got a friend of mine, Jimmy C. Calhoun, who has a fascinating story he wants to tell us. Jimmy, why don't you tell us about your story?
The other day, I saw many lights up in the sky, about up in there. I seen it come down. It looked like a normal cloud, Bubba. But there was green in it, there was red in it, even the color mauve. So when it come down on the ground, it looked like a octopus jellyfish. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to think of it. But I'm telling you, it left a lot of spots in my yard. I saw the little ones look like hatchlings come out. They were scrambling about. I think they just didn't know how to control the ship or something. I honestly don't know. What do you think about it?
Well, did you see a ship, an actual ship?
Yes, it was hidden inside the clouds. Inside the clouds, there was an oval. Looked like a giant Illuminati symbol eyeball. But I think it's off of a dollar bill. I am not sure.
You think there was a dollar bill in the sky? Let me understand you correct. Do you do drugs, Jimmy?
I may drink a little bit off and on of the job site.
All right, I just want to make sure, because this story is so fascinating, and it does sound kind of like...
Look right there. Did you see it?
No, I missed that one.
Wow.
But that's good that you might have caught it.
Yeah.
So, but you say there was hatchlings?
There was hatchlings around here, I'm telling you. The little ones, they had like this tail off of it, kind of looked squirrel-like. I seen it reflecting off the cannon.
Octopus squirrels running around in your yard, falling out of clouds.
Well, hang on, with jellyfish tentacles.
with jellyfish tentacles and Illuminati symbols.
Yes, very much like a barbarian Illuminati. They all seeing eye.
Daggum. Jimmy C. Calhoun is a whirlwind. Did y'all understand half the stuff he was saying? I'm here with my friend Alex, and Alex has got a fascinating story he wants to tell us. Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you saw?
Me and my buddies were just sitting out here at the harbor, and over that way there was one big bright light, and it split up into like 4, like really fast, and then they just started spinning in like weird different directions, and then all of a sudden they just shot straight down in the water, and then that's the last I saw them.
Wow. So was there any sounds associated with them flying around, and when they went in the water, was there any sound with that?
No, it was just quiet.
Wow. About how far away you reckon they were?
In between here and the islands over there.
Oh, wow. That doesn't seem like it's too far. You figure you might have heard something from it. About what time of night was it?
It was probably about 11, and then whenever I looked down at my watch, an hour had passed by, so it was like 12 by then, but it felt like it happened really fast.
So you feel like there might have been a loss of time involved in it?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Can I ask you a question? And it has something to do, were you smoking weed?
No, sir.
Was there any other type of paraphernalias involved?
Nah.
So this is a sober story of an incident that happened, that y'all was just out here fishing and whatnot, and all of a sudden, lights.
Yeah, we were just out here hanging out with our friends, and then just lights up in the sky.
Wow. Folks, that's a fascinating story. Alex, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to investigating some of this stuff.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Folks, what an interesting story from Alex. He's going to go put a shirt on, and we're going to go to our next location. Did y'all hear that? He talked about the spacecraft going under the water. Now, I've heard some tales about some crafts that'll do that too. They come up out of the water. You talk to some Navy folks if you get a chance. They got some stories. I'm here with Clarence Ponsler. Clarence, what is it that you do for a living?
I'm a broadcast meteorologist at Ocean 7 Television, located in Ocean Springs, and I do weather reports for not just here along the Gulf Coast, but also across many different markets across the country, from LA to New York, from Montana, all the way down to the Southeast.
All right, so if somebody was out looking at the sky and is to see something that maybe they didn't understand, are there any type of meteorological things that might confuse them into thinking there's some sort of a UFO or something in the sky?
Quite a few. For example, out towards the mountain ranges, let's say you're in Denver, Colorado, or even towards the Appalachians, towards Pennsylvania, you can find lenticular clouds, which are clouds that kind of form, and it looks kind of like a UFO. Also, there are other meteorological phenomenon, like lightning. Not just the lightning that comes out of a thunderstorm that you see on the ground, but up in the atmosphere. I'm talking stratosphere, mesosphere, for example, sprites that can happen that will shoot upward. And they're different colors too, like they're blue sprites, basically a lightning in the mesosphere that may be out on the other side, on the stratiform part of the anvil. So that's just at least a couple examples that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Have you ever, before you come into all the knowledge that you got, have you ever seen any of these things that maybe confused you a little bit into thinking so?
Not personally. Basically almost all the time, with my knowledge of weather that I had to go through, 90% at least of the time, I would think this would be more meteorological related. Personally, I've never seen a UFO, and in my honest opinion, I think UFOs are real, it's just they're very rare.
Do you think maybe sometimes folks will be looking around and maybe they just don't catch it, and that's why they don't really register that there's something going on? Maybe they're looking at it and they just don't understand what they're looking at and they don't want to believe? If
they don't have the knowledge of the extra meteorological phenomena, another example I might want to throw, there's a show called Strangest Weather on Earth, and they've noticed a red contrail in the sky, and they thought, wait a minute, that's a UFO. It's got to be a UFO sighting. No, it's an airplane. People just don't catch that.
Now, Jimmy, I got to know why you got a hot tub in your yard.
Well, I've been working on it for 3 months. I bought it from Joey down the street. He paid 15 for it, but sold it to me for 50. It took more than truck power to get it down there, and Joey was a liar. So I've been working on it for over 3 more months additionally. Now what happened was whenever I come out here and I set it up every time, the aliens have been chewing the wires and moving it around. So what I do on this downtime on this machine inactivity is I fill it completely full of ice and beer. And it makes the biggest cooler on earth. I'm trying to break Guinness by getting in here. So it's technically, maybe I may be lying or not, but it may not be a hot tub, may be considered a cool tub. Now what happens is instead of Netflix and chill, I like to get in here and I like to beer and chill. I like to be one with my beer. Now I know that sounds crazy on the spiritual occultist level, but come on. I mean, even you could join our society, Bubba Truth. Ain't you looking for some truth?
I'm looking for truth, but I ain't looking to freeze to death trying to drink a beer. So you crawl right up in this thing with ice all around you and beers floating or sinking or whatever they do in ice like that?
Indeed I do. In fact, one time it sent me to the ICU.
I'd expect so. I'd expect so. Is the beer good, though?
The beer is ice cold.
I imagine so, along with your legs and the rest of you.
Half of it had to be removed. I can't specify which part on television.
We can only imagine.
Indeed.
You gonna be all right?
I think I am, Bubba.
All right.
Part 1's learning how to deal with things.
I hear you.
Dealing with the beer cooler and the beer because it's helping take the edge off. It really is. But we have even more serious of issue. The aliens keep chewing the wiring.
Now, aliens, being an assumed highly technologically advanced group of folk, I wouldn't necessarily think they'd be eating on the wires so much.
I think they may have gotten Joey's meth down the street.
Do what?
Now, I heard Joey also uses, I know this is hard to believe, probably even more than the aliens, Bubba Truth, he uses squirrels as protection guard dogs by giving them that methamphetamine.
Sounds, vicious, I guess? I don't know. Like how, have you ever been attacked by a meth squirrel or?
Bubba, have you ever seen a squirrel? Normally they're all over the place on methamphetamine supercharged like a Shelby GT 600, which ain't even in existence yet.
Well, I imagine so. They run around on power lines and jumping in and out of trees and... My goodness.
They knocked the entire power grid off one time down here. It's even covered up by the United States government. It's that high. That's what's up with these mosquitoes. See, these mosquitoes are actually engineered by DARPA. We're not supposed to talk about it around here.
What kind of mosquitoes is he talking about?
And they are responsible for these mosquitoes genetically modified and flying around here. My friend Alex over there, he told me about cattle mutilations and also about them also maybe even putting stuff in Joey's methamphetamines. So what do you think, Bubba?
I think that's a lot to take in. I think we got a lot going on here. A lot going on with aliens in this area, in this vicinity. These genetically modified mosquitoes they're getting out. So, buddy, I'm gonna take off. Jimmy, it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna go out here and see if I can't instigate some things and figure out what's going on with these aliens up here in Lucedale. Y'all, I know we're talking about UFOs and aliens and whatnot. But every now and again, I'll find some information about Bigfoot being an alien. Some stories about how during a volcano had gone off and folks were walking around all secret-like with government officials looking for these Bigfoots, and they were carrying them around to different caves, checking to see what the population of Bigfoot was like. Look up some of these videos. It's craziness out there. Is there any truth to it? I don't know. Next time I catch Bigfoot, I'm gonna ask him. All right, so some folks called me out to their property. They've been seeing some weird things in the night sky. So we brought out some bait. Apparently like Skittles. Saw that in ET, and we got some M&Ms and some, I mean, I remember Alf liked cats, but I don't think I could do anything like that to a cat. So we just swung by a Chinese restaurant and got some stuff on a stick. It's kind of questionable. Got a beer. I've already set it out earlier. I don't know if y'all seen that movie Paul, but he seemed to be kind of affectionate towards beers and other things. I got some beef jerky I'm gonna lay out. You know that beef jerky commercial seems to be bringing in some things. So we're just gonna wander around the property here and spread some things out. Come back and check on it throughout the night. All right, y'all. I've already laid out all my traps, my bait, to try and get these aliens to come in for everything I could figure. Now I've hunkered down inside of my tent. Left the screen off the top so I can look out into the night sky. See, I don't want to be out milling around and them see me and not come close to my baits. So I'm just gonna sit in here and listen, see if I can't find me some of these aliens. But there's one last piece of bait that I have. And that's this picture of Sigourney Weaver. You see, have you ever seen all them Aliens movies? She's in just about all of them. And they loved her. They was chasing her for the whole movie. So I figure if I got this in here with me, they'll come after what I'm calling an autographed copy of Sigourney Weaver's picture. I'm gonna hunker down and listen real tight. Now, we're out here pretty close to a farm. There's goats and cows and some horses, dogs living across the street, some chickens. Those are my early detection type things, my perimeter. They're out there, and I figure if I hear them neighing or what have you, cock-a-doodle-dooing and whatever, and then maybe that'll alert me to their presence. Maybe these critters will sense them, be able to help me out. Y'all, these dogs is going crazy over here. The goats are starting to make noise. Oh my Lord, listen. It's a picture of Sigourney Weaver. It's not the real one. Y'all, I'm in some trouble. Y'all come back and see us next week on Bubba Truth. If we're here. It's just a picture. It's not the real Sigourney Weaver. It's not the real one.